Bitcoin saw a crazy week. We came back from the 69,000 all the way back to the 49,000 and then pumped back to the $62,000. We saw a lot of volatility coming into the market. People were panicking at these lows, but the smart money just invested more into Bitcoin. In this video I will tell you everything what happened for Bitcoin this week and what we can expect for the next week. I'm also going to have a look at the two altcoins Ethereum and Chainlink, but later about that in this video. I see a lot of interesting news coming into the market, so watch this video all the way to the end, like this video, and let's dive right into the charts. Yesterday Bitcoin opened its CME gap at around $60,745. We are now trading around this level, and I expect that Bitcoin is going to trade around this level during the weekend and eventually close the gap. Last week we saw a huge dump to the downside, and afterwards we closed the gap later in the week, but the CME gap is always getting close 99 out of 100 times. We can expect that Bitcoin is going to trade around this level and eventually close the gap before Monday. So that will be a good thing to see that the gap is getting closed, because we don't want to leave any gaps open. And last week we saw a lot of volatility coming into the market. We came all the way back down from the 69,000 back to the $49,000, and everyone was panicking here. And while people were panicking, the smart money, so the institutional investors, were buying like crazy, and that's why we also pumped it to the top side. We saw this trendline resistance was unfolding with multiple touch points at resistance in the past, and eventually we broke this downtrend to the top side. We created a new higher high, and now Bitcoin is looking to create a higher low, and from there we can maybe aim for a higher high, and that will be the first big trend reversal for Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. So let's see if Bitcoin can create more bullish momentum to the top side, so we can confirm the real trend reversal to the top side. And of course this previous resistance line didn't get tested as support yet, so we can also see a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And if you were late to buy Bitcoin into the markets and you didn't buy the dip, then this area could be a very interesting opportunity to buy the dip and to even enter the market for the long term. And if we then zoom in on the 15-minute time frame, we can see this beautiful uptrend for Bitcoin unfolding. And now we are in this consolidation pattern on the 50-minute time frame. So we can see multiple touch points in the past as support. Currently we are trying to break out to the top side because this resistance line was unfolding also. And yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a price squeeze, and this apex is almost getting reached. So let's see if Bitcoin can break this pattern during the weekend. We can maybe see a little bit of a spike to the top side, and eventually I think that this previous resistance will be turned into support if we break out, and that will also be complemented with the closing of the gap. And from there we can maybe aim for higher targets, and that would be having a bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin and the overall sentiment on the market. So for now this 50-minute pattern is about to break out today, and we can maybe see a little bit of volatility coming into the market during the weekend. But however, keep in mind that there is still a CME gap, and that we could trade around this gap during the weekend as well. And as I was saying, last week Bitcoin plunged 28%, and institutional investors bought the dip, just like I said, and they were buying through the Bitcoin ETFs. Well, a lot of people were panicking. They are buying the dip like crazy. Just like on Thursday, we saw BlackRock bought for 157 million into the Bitcoin ETF. So that is insane, of course. And yesterday we saw a little bit of an outflow of $89 million because Grayscale was selling a lot and BlackRock didn't buy as much as on Thursday. So we are now seeing a little bit of a positive inflow again. And as I'm saying as well, we see this spike to the top side 3 times, and I want to see this spike to the top side for the 4th time, and that would push Bitcoin again to new highs, because every time we saw a huge spike to the top side in the Bitcoin ETFs inflows, that meant we also saw a very big spike on the chart of Bitcoin. And yesterday, while Bitcoin pumped, I was telling you that we are seeing huge resistance getting broken to the top side, so this is looking very bullish. And I was telling you that if we can hold this level, we can see maybe a continuation of the bullish uptrend. Bitcoin closed its daily candle above the 60,500, so this is very bullish, and we can now turn this resistance area into green, because this resistance is getting turned into support, so we can now see more bullish continuation to the top side maybe. And this support is holding strong for now, because we can see here multiple touch points in the past as support, and we switched to resistance. But for now, we are seeing the support is holding strong, and maybe we can retest this previous resistance to the top side, and that will be around $64,000. So this could maybe happen in the coming week. So we could maybe see more bullish momentum to the top side for Bitcoin. and that will be very bullish, of course. But there's also a bearish scenario, of course, and that will be that we're breaking this support again and come all the way back to the $58,000. But for now, this support is holding strong, so this is looking very bullish on the daily time frame. Bitcoin is also back in this middle stage of this broadening wedge formation. Of course, in the higher time frame, we are in this downtrend because we can see diminishing highs, and we are seeing lower highs and also lower lows. So eventually this is a downtrend, but we can also see it like a little bit of a falling wedge, and a falling wedge is a typical bullish bias pattern because we see a huge spike to the top side, then we see some consolidation to the side, and eventually I think we will see a breakout to the top side, a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support, and then we can aim for higher targets. And of course this higher side resistance will be the last block of resistance to break for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin first breaks this trendline resistance, then we need to also break this huge horizontal resistance for Bitcoin. And this will be the last resistance for Bitcoin to break the new all-time high around the $74,000. So yeah, this could also happen in the next weeks. As we can see here, we saw a huge spike to the top side, and that could happen in a couple of days. So now we are in the middle of this broadening wedge formation. So let's see if Bitcoin can confirm this revisit of the resistance and eventually break it to the top side. And this resistance at the top side will be around the $68,500. So this is still a little bit of a long road to gain, but it could play out in the next week, and this is exactly what we want to see. And this weekly bull flag is looking very bullish if you ask me. During this week we saw a huge wick unfolding because we came all the way back to the $49,000, and now this weekly candle is closing in the green, and this is looking very bullish, and this is one of the most bullish candles in the last 2 years because yeah, we look like we are breaking below the support, but eventually we came all the way back up, and now we can aim for this top side resistance again. So let's see if Bitcoin can eventually break this bull flag to the top side, because that will ignite the next big leg up for Bitcoin, and we can maybe see an exponential move, and this breakout target of this bull flag formation will have a breakout target of $180,000, so that is insane, of course. But for now we have to be a little bit patient that Bitcoin is going to revisit this topside resistance and force a break to the top side. And if you want to enter the market here in the long, we have to wait for a retest of this trendline resistance to turn it into support, and from there we can enter the market in the long or just spot buy, and yeah, you can aim for higher targets. And yesterday we had a little bit of a negative day for the Ethereum ETFs again. We saw BlackRock buying for almost $20 million in the Ethereum ETF, and eventually we saw an outflow of $15.8 million because Grayscale was still selling a lot of their Ethereum. And BlackRock already bought for $901 million into the Ethereum ETF, so this is crazy, of course. And these are the numbers we want to see. So if Grayscale is done selling their Ethereum into the markets, we can maybe see more upside momentum for Ethereum through the ETFs. And if we have a look at the chart of Ethereum, we can see this green box of accumulation I was telling you about. And at this green box, I was buying in like crazy, and I bought for more Ethereum here. And I also shared it on my socials. And from this point of retest, we're also up significantly. And we came all the way back up to this $2,600. And yeah, currently we are in a profit of 18%, so that is insane. And congratulations if you took this trade together with me. So we're now at this first big resistance, and I took a little bit of profits because I buy at support and I sell my portions at resistance. So of course I don't sell my back at once. So if we're going to see a break above this area, we will go back to this topside resistance of $2,900, and also at this point I will also sell a little bit of my bags to get in more profits. And for now we are seeing that Ethereum is at this resistance, so let's see if Ethereum can maybe break the resistance to the top side, retest it as support, and then come further back up to all the way to this $2,900 target. And that will be the first horizontal resistance for Ethereum on the daily time frame. And this $2,900 is a very interesting resistance because we saw a lot of support coming into the market in the past, and we fell below this support, of course. We came all the way back down to the $2,200, and now we're seeing a bounce back to this level. So I expect that Ethereum will go back to this level. And of course we also can see maybe a big rejection because this level is very strong, as we can see in the past. And yeah, at this point I'm taking a lot of profits in because I think this support will be turned into resistance, and we will see a big rejection from this point. But of course we want to see more strength for Ethereum, and that we are going to see a break of this resistance to turn it into support, and then we can maybe come back into this formation, and eventually we want to also see a break to the top side here, and then we can aim for all-time highs. So I hope you find this video useful. Give this video a like, follow me on my socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.